Thanks, John. I'm Randy Hansen. In World News headlines today, NYPD raid Occupy Wall Street encampment, evict protesters, clear Zuccotti Park. 32 arrested in Occupy Oakland raid, 2 city officials resign. The Supreme Court to rule on health care law in 2012. And 69 killed in Syria as Jordanian king calls for Assad to step down. And White House spokesperson Josh Earnest repeats the administration's call for Assad to resign. And a study says radioactive levels too high for safe farming in Japan. And Senate hopeful Elizabeth Warren targets big banks in first TV ad. And Palestinian activists launch freedom rides in West Bank. An ex-Penn State coach maintains innocence to child rape charge. And D.C. Occupy protesters disrupt health insurance CEO at Chamber of Commerce. But before these stories, GVTV News would like to thank one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us, GVTV News. In today's first world news story, hundreds of New York City police officers raided the home of the Occupy Wall Street movement shortly before 1 a.m. 2 days ago. Police tore down an entire infrastructure built over the past 59 days at Zuccotti Park as they cleared the park. Tents were torn down, the library was removed, personal belongings were thrown into massive piles and then taken away by dump trucks. Some protesters had chained themselves together in an effort to stay in the park. At least 70 people were arrested, including City Council member Yadanis Rodriguez. Democracy Now! Had learned a legal team representing the protesters was obtaining a temporary restraining order against the City of New York and Brookfield office properties, directing that occupiers be allowed back on the premises with their belongings. City was saying it would allow protesters to return to the park, but without sleeping bags or tents. In a statement, Mayor Michael Bloomberg said he had become increasingly concerned that the occupation was coming to pose a health and fire safety hazard to protesters and to the surrounding community. The raid on the park came just 2 days before a massive protest was scheduled to mark the start of the third month of Occupy Wall Street. As it went on the air, hundreds of Occupy Wall Street supporters were gathering in nearby Foley Square to plan a movement's next step. The raid of Occupy Wall Street in New York City early the other morning came 1 day after officers cleared the Occupy Oakland encampment in California. 32 people were arrested. 2 prominent members of the Oakland Mayor Jean Kwan's team had resigned over the past day. Hours before the Monday's raid, Oakland Mayor legal advisor Dan Siegel resigned to protest the city's crackdown on Occupy movement. A couple nights ago, Deputy Oakland Mayor Sharon Cornu also stepped down. The U.S. Supreme Court has agreed to decide whether Congress overstepped its powers when approving President Obama's health care law last year. The court is expected to issue a ruling by July, just months before the 2012 presidential election. Over 24 states have asked that the entire law be struck down. At the heart of the legal battle is the section of the law that requires all Americans to buy health insurance by 2014 or pay a penalty, a provision known as the individual mandate. At least 69 people were killed in southern Syria on Monday amidst growing international pressure on Syrian President Bashar al-Assad to resign. For the first time, King Abdullah II of Jordan had called on Assad to step down. The Jordanian king made the comment in an interview with the BBC, and he said, "I would believe if I were in his shoes, I would step down. However, if I was in his position, if it was me, I would step down and make sure whoever comes behind me has the ability to change the status quo that we're seeing. And again, I don't think the system allows for that. So if Bashar has the interest of his country, he would step down, but he would also create an ability to reach out and start a new phase in Syrian political life." And Josh Earnest out of Washington, D.C. said, "I will say that we obviously applaud the decision that was reached and announced by the Arab League. It's clear that the Assad regime is continuing to be isolated and the political pressure on them is building. It is clear that the administration, what the Obama administration posture is on this, which is that President Assad has lost his legitimacy to rule and should go." Meanwhile, Iraq is defending its decision to abstain from the recent Arab League vote to suspend Syria's membership. Hoshar Zabari, Iraq's foreign minister, said, "This does not mean that we support this or that side, or we support the killing of innocent people, or we do not support freedom and free will for the Syrian people to choose the regime that they want. But there are also regional and international considerations. Iraq's position is not like a state in North Africa or in the Gulf. Syria is a close neighbor, and what happens in it will affect us. We can actually show reservations on this decision." A new scientific study in Japan has revealed radioactive material in parts of northeastern Japan exceeds levels considered safe for farming. The study found the entire Fukushima prefecture is highly contaminated. Researchers looked at cesium-137, which has a half-life of 30 years and therefore could affect the Japanese farming industry for decades. In campaign news, Elizabeth Warren issued her first TV ad in a bid to unseat Republican Massachusetts Senator Scott Brown. In an ad, Warren paints herself as a crusader against the banking industry. She said, "For years I have worked to expose how Wall Street and big banks are crushing middle-class families. It just isn't right. I stood up to the big banks and their army of Washington lobbyists. I worked to hold them accountable. I led a fight for a new agency to protect consumers, and we got it. But Washington is still rigged with the big guys, and that's got to change. I'm Elizabeth Warren. I approve this message because I want Massachusetts families to have a level playing field." Palestinian activists in the West Bank have announced plans to board Jewish-only public buses to protest segregation under Israeli occupation. Dubbed the Freedom Rides, the campaign is inspired by the 1961 Freedom Riders who rode interstate buses to challenge the Jim Crow laws of the Deep South. There have been a number of developments in the alleged child rape scandal involving former assistant coach at Penn State, Jerry Sandusky, was charged earlier this month with 40 felony counts relating to sexual abuse of children. On Monday, he spoke with NBC's Bob Costas in his first interview since being charged, and Sandusky said, "I say that I am innocent of these charges." Costas asked him, "Innocent, completely innocent, or falsely accused in every aspect?" And Sandusky replied, "Well, I could say that. I have done some of those things. I have horsed around with kids. I have showered after workouts. I have hugged them. I have touched their leg without intent of sexual contact." Jerry Sandusky is out free on a $100,000 unsecured bail. It was revealed that the judge who allowed Sandusky to be freed on a reduced bail was a former volunteer at his charity, Second Mile, a foundation for needy children. Occupy protesters in Washington, D.C. took over a meeting in Chamber of Commerce Monday. The protesters disrupted a speech by Blue Cross Blue Shield CEO Scott Serota. Occupy protesters said, "We are 99% and we are here because Scott Serota, CEO of Blue Cross, who makes more than $2.5 million per year, is an example of the 1% in the healthcare industry who testified in Congress and influenced the health bill to create more profit for health insurers at the expense of human suffering and preventable death. The protest continued for several minutes. As soon as one protester was removed from the event, another stood up and began speaking. And that's it for World News Today. Now another thanks to one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. You guessed it, it's us. GVTV News.
Soundcheck Music Center, the Rock and Roll Connection. We have guitars, amps, drum equipment, sound accessories, lessons, and repairs. We are located at 671 Maltman Drive, Grass Valley. 530-272-7236, open 7 days a week.
There's something happening here, but what it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware.
That's right, it's time for the police blotter. Pictures in the blotter not from these actual events but used for visual aid only. Grass Valley Police Department on Sunday. 9:46 a.m. A woman from the 100 block of West Berry Hill Drive reported a man hit her several times after she approached him about children being at a residence with addicts. At 11:28 a.m. a caller from Deaver Lane reported a physical fight with a person being transported to the emergency room. At 11:35 a.m. a caller from Memorial Park reported several people smoking marijuana. One person was advised to leave. At 12:50 p.m. a caller from 400 block of Colfax Avenue reported a possible drug deal. No one was located. At 3:46 p.m. a caller from Condon Park reported people smoking marijuana who were not located. At 6:28 p.m. a woman from 100 block of Olympia Park Road reported a man had been drunk and vandalized her vehicle and now was refusing to pay for damages. At 9:05 p.m. a caller from 600 block of Kate Hayes Street reported a person tried to kick in a door. At 9:32 p.m. a caller from 100 block of Catherine Lane reported a man was raging on meth. He was arrested on suspicion of battery, damage to the phone line, and possession of a controlled substance. Nevada County Sheriff's Office on Sunday, 11:12 a.m. A man from the 15,000 block of Little Valley Road reported a shed had been broken into. At 12:53 p.m. a woman from Brookside Way reported her crawlspace door had been tampered with and her neighbor made a hoo-dah sound when she is outside. She also reported the hospital claims she called them 22 times regarding what kind of meds her housemaid was on. 3:02 p.m. a man from 15,000 block of Gold Cone Drive reported an ongoing issue with gas being siphoned from his vehicles. At 4:48 p.m. a woman from 15,000 block of Sky Pines Road reported her pit bull had just attacked her dachshund. She wanted the pit bull put down. 7:20 p.m. caller from 23,000 block of Timber Ridge Drive reported burglary to a fifth wheel trailer. At 9:32 p.m. a caller from 23,000 block of Fagerly Road reported a possible drive-by shooting. Occupants of a truck shot several rounds at a residence. It might have been a turkey poachers. Monday, 12:29 a.m. caller from Bear River High School reported hearing banging noises and voices from the Beachers. 2:58 a.m. a caller from 10,000 block of Chances R Road reported drugs being used. Nevada City Police Department on Sunday, 10:05 a.m. a caller from Commercial Street reported transients drinking vodka by a bathroom. At 12:56 p.m. caller from 700 block of Zion Street reported 4 very drunk people left in a vehicle. They could not be located. And that's it today for the blotter. Now another thanks to one of our underwriters who supports, guess what, your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us, GVTV GVTV News. In today's local news headlines, man flees after being tased. And man arrested after alleged skateboard assault. And Christmas gift fair this weekend. In a story written by Liz Keller of the Union, Grass Valley police officers are searching for a man who fled from a disabled vehicle even after being tased early Monday morning. Officers responded to a report of a disabled vehicle near Idaho-Maryland Road and Centinelli Drive at about 6:30 a.m., said Captain Rex Marks. A man standing near the vehicle was fidgeting, twitching, and trying to cover his face with a hooded sweatshirt when officers approached. The man then fled. With officers in pursuit, a taser was deployed, but it was not fully effective, Marks said, adding that it had been due to a leather coat worn by the fleeing man. Investigation is ongoing and the man's identity has not yet been determined. And a Grass Valley man remains in custody in county jail after allegedly attacking another employee with his skateboard. Grass Valley police officers responded to a business on West Main Street about 1 a.m. Saturday to assist with a medical call, said Captain Rex Marks. As they arrived, they allegedly saw Thomas Burton Dixon, 21, trying to flee through the back door with a skateboard and detained him. The alleged victim was inside and allegedly had been assaulted and battered with the skateboard. Marks added, the reason for the altercation was not known. Dixon allegedly was more than 3 times over the legal limit for alcohol. He was arrested on suspicion of battery causing serious bodily injury and was being held in lieu of a $15,000 bail. And M3 Mall is hosting an event on the 19th, which is Saturday, and they're bringing in a shop consultant to help the supporters of all 12 of the local nonprofits that they are working with to save money on their Christmas gift purchases. If you stop by between 9 and 3, you have a chance to see what they are doing. Also on 11/20, which is Sunday, they have free training from 4 to 5:30 for the nonprofits to learn more about their portal. For any nonprofit that is interested in learning more, this meeting is highly encouraged as they have a professional shop consultant coming in from Merced for these 2 days as a special favor. Some of the nonprofits involved are Nevada County Habitat for Humanity, Bridge Network Company, Women of Worth, Animal Save, Core Community Recovery Resources, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Nevada Union High School Class of 1986, Relay for Live, American Cancer Society, and SNCHP, or Sierra Nevada Community Health Plan, New Covenant Baptist Church, Amma Heart Ministry, Inc., and Bear River Grad Night, plus 25 local business booths. They're a great place to check out what your community is doing to help in these economic times. The focus of this is to help everyone save money and also support the causes you want in our community. Christmas gift fair is at 12582 Squirrel Creek Road, Grass Valley, Saturday starting at 9 a.m. and Sunday starting at 4 p.m. And that's it for local news today. GVTV News would like to thank Associated Press, Reuters, Amy Goodman, the Union, and others for the sourcing of our news, and especially you for watching. Don't forget, we are broadcast 3 times a day, public access, NCTV, Comcast Cable, channels 11 and Suddenlink channel 16 in Truckee and Alta Sierra, 8 a.m., 3 p.m., 7:30 p.m., Monday through Friday. Random other times, check the website for the schedule. We are streamed daily on NevadaCountyTV.org, video on demand there. Also our website, GVTV.org, and GrassValleyTelevision.com, and Rural Counties Television Network.ning.com. We also post to Facebook, YouTube, Blip.tv, a free video podcast on iTunes. You can get us on smartphones, PSP, mini handheld devices. We have RSS feed. interested in underwriting, just give us a call. You can email us at grassvalleytelevision@gmail.com. Now we have a Teapot Alert, which is sort of a commentary, and then we'll thank one of our underwriters. Talk to you tomorrow.